Good evening, guys. DeathClock Dave here, and welcome to another Wednesday night live stream battle report recap. So this evening we had Cory Doyle playing Skorne versus myself playing Convergence. So I had kind of a back-to-back Skorne versus Convergence recording, just because we've got some of our players don't have the availability right now. So Cory, what were you playing this evening?
Makeda3.
All right, and Makeda3 was in?
Imperial Warhost.
All right, and I was playing Iron Mother in Destruction Initiative. So we basically planned out the match because we played, last stream we played Father Lucant in Clockwork Legions against Makeda3, so that's my pairing was Father and Mother. So just to shake it up a little bit, so we are playing Scenario 3, which is Spread the Net, and Cory, you won the role and opted to go first. Any particular reason for that?
I wanted to aggressively get up the board.
Yep, we were...
The list is fast, and it's a live scenario, so if I can bully so that I at least score a point or two, then you don't just run away with the game, as you have a bigger army than me.
Right. Yeah, all my servitors.
They occupy space, they're cheap to contest, they score both flags.
Yes. And what are your theme benefits for Imperial Warhost?
I get 2 extra deployment, I get the usual free stuff, and then I get hyper aggressive for all beasts in my army.
Okay, nice. And hyper aggressive, guys, is if you take damage from an enemy attack, you get to make a full advance. So except for if you're advancing, so it won't proc off of a free strike, but and it's multiple times per turn potentially, so really powerful ability. So for Destruction Initiative, I get free stuff, of course, plus 2 inches to my deployment zone, so we are effectively 4 inches closer together. All of my servitors become shield guards, and yeah, other than that, I can take Eilish.
Solos.
Sorry. Yes, that's a good point. So all of the servitor solos are shield guards. So the Iron Mother unit are not solos, so they do not benefit from shield guard. The other change from when she was in Mark II is they are also no longer arc nodes. That specifically got reworded to Warjack. So Spread the Net, we have a central circular zone, which are Warcaster Warlock units. We have a rectangular zone horizontally oriented on either flank, so on the right flank for each player, which are Warcaster, Warlock, Warjack, Warbeast battle engines. And we have a flag pretty far up the board on either player's left flank, which can be controlled by Warcaster, Warlock, and Solo. So definitely a live scenario. Until Mirage came around, this was arguably the most live scenario, so lots of scoring elements here. So, so here you can see we've got our deployment zones laid out. And we're pretty close to each other once you add those plus 2 inches for both themes. So so that's pretty significant. So Cory, how are you deploying here?
I just want to make a statement, Dave. We're not that close. Like, we're acquaintances at best.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
We don't do movie nights or nothing.
Yeah, I know. I'm sad about that. They want a bit too. I'm sad about that.
I'm just going to deploy so I can control my zone, and then hopefully get to where I can contest your flag. I'm hoping that I can then swing like a model down on the bottom flag, my left flag, to contest it early game until I can actually get traction in attrition. Because I think if I play properly, I can attrition the game better, as my threat ranges are really good, and I should be able to survive most of your shooting.
Yeah. All right, and how are you? What do you got on the board here? Or here, I'll talk about mine first.
I got Skorne.
Okay, yeah, Skorne. So I've gone ahead and I have placed Iron Mother centrally on the table. I wanted her to be kind of hanging out behind that wall. And I've got her 2 servitor bots to the left and right of her. I've got Corollary right beside her to make sure that I'm able to be activating my Corollary first to get that free focus because he starts within 3 inches of her. I've got a Tep on my right flank. To the left of Iron Mother, I've put a Cypher. I want him going up the middle of the board, popping out some rough terrain templates. On the left of that, I've got the Prime Axiom, and to the left of that, another Tep. And then I've essentially got a smattering of Servitors all around. So he doesn't have a ton of shooting. The main shots that I'm concerned about are the Shaman Ghost Shot ones. So I put a fair number of Servitors to the right flank because I want to be able to run one in, score the flag, he kills it, and then I just rinse and repeat. So, and I put a fair number on the far left flank as well because I wanted those throwaway models to be able to run into his zone if he was controlling it, in order to prevent his scoring on my turn. So, and then the other Servitors are just around just to be shield guards. I do forget to put my mechanics on, so they're coming shortly. Cory's just pointing out what's where in his army here. The one change in this list is that you swapped the Raider from, it used to be under Zaadesh, and now the Raider is under Makeda, and Zaadesh has the Savage.
Shaman.
Or Shaman, sorry. Yeah, to give the reach.
The Shaman gives me 2 advantages. The Shaman has reach, which helps for tag team, so I can add +2/+2 again to, because tag team gives gang to his battle group.
Right.
And then the Shaman also can cast Rush, which means I can put 4 Fury out. He can then cast Rush twice, and then reave all 4 back, and I have less Fury problems.
Right. Okay.
Because I'm finding I end up over 1 or 2 Fury most of the time.
Okay, cool. So on the board for terrain, at the very bottom right, we have a hill. To the left of that, we have a forest. In the middle of the board, we have a house, which is an obstruction, and we use the entire template as an obstruction. To the left of that, we have a wall. To the far right, we have water. Just above that, we have rubble, which is rough terrain and cover fully within. Above that, we have a forest. To the left of that, we have more water. And then to the far left, under my axiom, we have another rubble. So, Cory, what are you planning out here? We see an inordinate number of proxy bases.
A lot more than 2 that you're allowed.
Yes, all the timing.
So I want to get up aggressive, and I want to make sure that I keep Bulwark. So Bulwark gives +2 defense, can't be knocked down. I also want to make sure that I'm able to get Force Aura and everything. Because,
that's pretty key to this. To this army, Bulwark and Force Aura is huge.
Yeah, it's sure. +4 defense and +2 armor against shooting, and then I still get the +2 defense and can't be knocked down against everything else.
It's really, really good. So placement is definitely key.
So I want to make sure all my models are in relevant positions in the game. I want to make sure that I'm threatening past your flag, so that if you move up on your turn 1 to even think about contesting it, I can just engage and kill stuff. And if you don't, then I can just play the posture position game, and I only have to worry. I'll score my zone, and you'll score your zone, and I don't have to worry about the bottom flag. And I can shoot whatever you put in the bottom flag to keep the game going.
Yes,
and that's why the Raider and the Shaman is on the left.
Yeah, it gives you some decent shooting there. So so we've got, and you out-threat me in most things, and Bulwark is no worries. Bulwark is key because it's base to base with a model in the battle group, so that's where the positioning is really key, and then the Force Aura is within 3 inches. So so placement is very key with this army to make sure you're stacking those defensive bonuses and getting everything where you want to go, especially on the first turn.
And Fury is a problem. I've struggled a bunch in my first. I've only played about seven games with Makeda now, maybe 8. And every game I've had Fury problems. And they've cost me. I've had Fury problems early game, and they actually cost me mid-late game because you lose an activation.
Right, yeah. Yeah, when you've got all that juicy support stuff that you can do, too, to get things like Force Aura out, because your Shaman can cast Force Aura if the beast is within their command of 7. So you can get this glorious kind of like cloud wall of Force Aura all along the board where all your stuff is, which is pretty sweet. So, so you got Molik Karn way up the board. The white model in the middle is a Shaman.
Molik Karn moved with Rush on him, and then he was able to reposition with his Animus.
Fate Walker, yep.
I then ran a Brute up who had Rush on him. I'm then going to move, I think I moved Makeda next just to get her out of the way. The Krea moved up. The Krea took free charge. So what I've been trying to do is use the Paingivers to get free charges. It gives me extra distance. So the Krea casts his Animus and free charge. And then I'm just going to run models to base and block so I can protect the Krea. Because my fear is losing a Krea early game because I only own 1.
So guys, when you do your deployment, it's really good to have your beast handlers base to base, and that way you can, if you've got charge targets to help for your placement, you can basically get a poor man's run. So.
Also, if you only move 9 inches, you can then walk up and whip the Fury off. So if you charge 9 and your base of the Paingiver, at least that Paingiver can walk up and remove the Fury. Nice. So it, again, will help with the Fury movement. So this is where I realized I made a mistake. I was going to cast the Aura Animus with Makeda.
Yep.
And then realized I was casting Molik's Animus thanks to Dave pointing it out.
Yes. So you can't get...
Which is, again, the third time I've tried to do that, and the third time I've realized I'm wrong. So now I'm just trying to figure out if I can charge a Shaman into place, and then hopefully get the Krea Animus onto at least Makeda.
Yeah.
Which I can't. So I'm just going to run more models up.
So the problem is that an Animus, when you cast it, it replaces the previous Animus. So we can't have the Force Aura on him and the Fate Walker is an end of turn thing. So it would effectively replace the Force Aura. So what did you opt to do with Makeda? Or you haven't?
Makeda did it.
Yeah,
She cast Bulwark. She dropped 2 Fury, so she's on 0 because I need to Reave.
Yeah.
And then she Fate Walker. So she Bulwark, Fate Walker, and then dropped 2 Fury.
Right. So Fate Walker allowed her to get into the position that she wanted to be. So she is bulwarked up, and she's up the board. So the white models are the.
And then I'm going to throw models around.
Yes, you do this.
Oh, I think you insulted me and I left.
Yeah, I think you're a very sensitive man. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I rage quit.
So Zaadesh is kind of the second model on the right for the white up at the very top, right?
But Zaadesh is the one with the
behind the Titan.
Directly behind the Titan, within 8 of the Shaman.
Right, and then to the far right, the white one is one of your escort, and then to the far left, the white one is
on the top and the bottom of the screen, I have both the escorts.
Yeah.
They don't get Fate Walker, so they always end up behind Makeda.
Right, but
again, Makeda's the proxy base.
Yeah.
Because there was placement issues. Brutes have big spears.
Yes. So here I'm looking, and I take some time to plan this out because I was initially not really liking how this match looked because of how much basically he's def 17 against all of my shooting, and he's got 5 shield guards in the game. So he left with having to get Fate Walker up. He left Makeda in a spot where she was not under Force Aura, which meant she was as low defense as she was going to be versus shooting effectively. So she was only a def 17, I guess, with Bulwark.
Yeah.
And I have multiple sources of flare in the army, so I was really looking at this. I also felt like with my feet, this is probably going to be the only turn that it really comes into play in order to get some decent shooting, because basically next turn I'm going to be, my Prime Axiom is potentially going to be dead, or my stuff is going to be engaged. He out-threats me. He's in a spot where if I basically move up with my Axiom, Molik Karn can get me, which is really scary, and Molik Karn is no pushover. He gets a lot of stuff done, especially under the Beast Handler's whipping and insight. So POW like 18 or something, Weapon Master is pretty redonkulous. So I spend a lot of time kind of planning out what I'm going to be able to get where, try and get as much damage as I can on the brick that's at the front there with Molik. I do have the TEP that's in range of Initially, I was measuring 17 and thinking 17 because I am used to TEPs under Axis, and on feet turn he's +2 speed, which puts him at 17. So initially I was thinking the TEP was actually going to be able to get to Makeda, which it isn't able to, but I'm able to, with a spray, hit at least 2 models at once. And of course a spray can't be shield guarded, so I'm going to be able to get some decent damage in there. Force him to think about where the shield guards go, because I have my 2 drag shots. So I have 2 drag shots on my Axiom, and I have 5 little gun shots, and Mother has a big gun shot as well. So here I've moved up Iron Mother. I've put tactical supremacy on her unit, so I can move up, basically kind of yo-yo, so I can move up, shoot some stuff, and then move back into a place of relative safety. So I have moved up, and I think we determined that I moved my Servitor initially too far, so he dirtles around a little bit there. But I'm getting in range to be able to shoot at the front row, whether it be Molik or the Brute. I believe I opt to shoot at Molik because I would really like to have him dead if possible. Wasn't really counting on that because of how much defensive tech there is and the shield guards though. So I do manage to get the Servitor in range, so he's within 9 to shoot at Molik Karn. I hit Molik Karn because I have feeded, but you shield guard it off to the Brute in the back. So Molik Imperial is +2 to damage rolls, so the Brute in the back has Imperial on him now. And then I shoot at Karn with Mother. I can't remember if you shield guarded that or not.
No, I ate the Mother shot because
okay.
I need to shield guard the 2 drags.
Yeah. Okay, so I did some decent damage. POW 15 versus your 18. So it's dice off 3, so I boosted it. I've also allocated out so that but with between my corollary and allocation, both my jacks are going to be full. So here I'm planning out where I'm going to be able to land the flare. So he's left the downside to bulwark with something like flare is that they all have to be quite close together, including a shield guard. So I have moved forward my Cypher. I boost the shot for the flare into, I don't know whether it was Karn or the Brute, and you shield guarded it, but it landed in such a spot where it basically hit everything anyway.
I didn't shield guard it.
You didn't shield guard it? Okay. It just landed
I just ate it.
Okay, cool.
It landed on Molik.
Okay, cool. And then I bought another attack and boosted, and I put that ring as a rough terrain, which is actually directly centered on Molik Karn, so we just, because of all the stuff that's in there, it's not right on top of him. So the rough terrain is in the way. Not a big deal because there's so much rush around, but I do like utilizing that rough terrain to limit the model placement. So now I'm planning out where my TEP is going to be able to get to. Again, this is, I think, where I've realized that he's not threatening 17. So planning to get some damage just on the front two models, so on Molik Karn and on the Brute itself. So I've moved up the TEP 5 inches. And I'm going to pop out the Permutation Servitors. Still pretty high defense, even with the -2. So I think you're at it cancels out your bulwark effectively, so you're at a 13. So I put 1 Permutation Servitor into extra dice damage to hit, and then I put 2 into extra dice, 1 into extra dice to hit, so I'm getting 1 extra dice to hit, and then 2 into damage. So rolling 3 dice to hit and 4 dice damage at a POW of 11. So I go ahead and I roll the dice. I believe I hit all of them. And I end up taking out the Brute. I think I took out the Brute.
Well, you took 2 sprays.
Took 2 sprays.
Yeah, you 2-shot the Brute because remember he's harmed.
Right. Yes.
So
or was it? Yeah.
So he's dice off 5. Mm-hmm. So you do 22 points of damage to the Brute because you killed him to the point in 2 shots.
Right. Okay.
But you're rolling 4 dice, so like math, it's actually not that bad. Like it's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. I was happy to get rid of
which I counted on because what that did was it gave me the option to not have Fury problems because I'm 1 Fury over.
Yeah. Yeah. So the Brute went down, which I was happy about, and it got some decent damage onto Molik Karn. And then I've left a nice little kind of crescent spot there where the front of the base for the Axiom can land as well. So there is the removal of the Brute. So the Axiom is going to move up just into that spot between the Cypher and the TEP. And he's pretty high range anyway, so he's range 11 on his big gun and range 13 on his little guns. So I did not need to cast Fire Group this turn. So I've orientated him in such a way that I can shoot both of the drag shots at Molik Karn. I want to force him to be shield guarding there because there's nothing in front of Molik right now. So if I do hit him, he's going to get drawn in and be punched. And I also spawned a Reflex Servitor directly in front of the Axiom. So that's what's right in front of him there now. So Reflex Servitor gives a counter charge, which can be, I figured would potentially be handy later on. And so I am full up on focus on my Axiom because of the focus induction. And I go ahead and I start with the drags. I believe I hit with all of the shots. I think I don't boost the drag on the first 2 shots. I saved the boost for damage on the little gun shots, and I actually ended up taking out Molik, which was
you're rat 8 though, right?
Rat 8,
so
yes.
And I'm flared, so
you're
my
13
goes to 13.
Yeah, so I'm having to roll 5. So I wasn't necessarily counting on killing him because I was. I think I'm only POW like 11 or so. It's pretty low POW on the little guns, but I luckily managed to remove him with the little gun shots, which I was happy of because if he had not been removed, I was very easily going to be losing at least 1 huge base just from that basically. So I was happy to get started with that.
And then clip Makeda with a shot. So she is battle driven.
Right, that was with the...
Yeah, you did 6 damage. With the Prime Axiom, was 5 shots.
Oh, yeah. Which I probably should have, in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have even worried about shooting her. I think I was hoping to get some damage on... Oh, because she didn't have any fury on her.
She had 0.
So...
Well, when you killed Molik, she gained 2, but I didn't spend it.
Right, okay, yeah. So I was hoping to get at least some damage on her. She is battle-driven now, so she does have...
Pathfinder and Battle Strength 18.
So if I hadn't battle-driven her, Rush is only for beasts, right?
Correct.
So that would have put her in a bad spot because there's a giant rough terrain right in front of her.
Correct.
Okay, that could have been interesting. Okay, and then I'm just basically running servitors around. So I was thinking I was blocking charge paths here, so I've got servitors out in front of me. On the right, I have run my servitors just to get in position for that flag. I had run my TEP on the right as well. That's why I didn't poop out permutation servitors. Just want to get him in a spot where I can potentially be walking and threatening his flank there and also getting on the flag. So, and that is over to you, Cory. And here comes the
Right, so
Proxy-rama.
I've lost... oh, I'm so bad with proxies. So I've lost Molik and I've lost a Brute. So I've lost, I don't know, probably 20% of my hitting power. So that I have a few plays here. The first play is I can try to go for attrition. I think the Gladiator, well, we know the Gladiator is within 14 of the TEP. So I could tag team, run a Cyclops in range, kill the TEP pretty handily with the Gladiator. And then it's a matter of whether Insight and Makeda can kill. Oh, so Zaadesh has a spell, range 10. If it damages an enemy model, I can move someone in his battle groups a full advance.
Oh, that's where you get...
And it's cost
where's
2.
the 14 coming from? Right, okay, yeah.
So I can get a free walk out of the Gladiator,
right.
because you get to make a full advance.
Gotcha.
So if I walk the Gladiator up, and it's cost 2, so I can do it twice. I can actually advance him.
It doesn't specifically say once per turn.
Well, I can advance him and the Rush.
Oh, yeah.
And the Shaman.
Yeah, okay.
So with Insight, his magic ability 4 becomes magic ability 6. I can almost reliably hit your Argonauts.
Okay.
And all I have to do is damage. So I think it's a POW 10, so it becomes a POW 12.
Yeah, and I'm only 13s on all of mine.
Well, I just have to damage, so I can theoretically go after your TEP.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, because it's a magic, not a shot.
Yeah,
right?
it's range 10, POW 10. And then all I have to do is damage with the spell. So if I spell hit your TEP's only a 19, I'm a 12 and need an 8.
Yeah.
So if I can,
start the train that way.
I'm swapping models to put Makeda in the proper spot.
Yes,
but
Proxy-palooza. So the template for the rough terrain is actually not where it's supposed to be. So it is actually down in front of the proxy model. So just keep that in mind. So that was a point in the planning. Yeah, I probably if I had not have battle driven you, that would have been interesting because you would have had that full on 4 inches of rough terrain to.
I'd probably aggressively move up with Insight.
Yeah. Well, you still want to. Yeah, you want to get to Insight up so that you're taking advantage of it.
So I probably try to get as far as I can forward, and then I just try to do as much work on the TEP and the Prime Axiom.
So battle driven is you get Pathfinder +2 strength and +2 armor.
+2 strength, +2 armor.
Okay, and that's if you damage her or one of the escort.
So I have that choice, and then the second choice I have is I can just try to kill Mother. Mother's only on a 2 camp. I can get to her with 8 Fury if everything plays out properly. If I can place my model properly. So this is the tough part with Makeda is the defense against her is really hard. You actually set up well. The other bonus is, and part of the reason I bring 2 Shaman is the Agonizer's Animus is Repulse.
Yep. Repulse.
So now the Shaman can use it within 7 of them, which gives me the ability to repulse 4 different times with 4 models.
Yeah. And so Repulse is centered on the model that casts it. It's all models within 2 inches get pushed 3 inches directly away. So it's pretty powerful.
So my hope here is I can push your models far enough back that my model can
Makeda
can then charge in and overtake off your models.
Because Makeda has overtake and on her feet. You're gonna every time you kill one, you're gonna get one back. So you're trying to
anytime anyone in a battle group kills something, she can remove or add a fury to any model in her battle group.
So you're basically trying to line up a chain so that you can charge, hit something, overtake, hit something, overtake, and then potentially we'll use something like Eliminator, which is also a movement buff to get to Mother. So I thought she was pretty far back, and I like that she was behind the wall. But you guys can see the proxy base, the black proxy base between Mother and the Cypher. That's where Cory is trying to orchestrate having Makeda3 land.
So now I'm just getting Brutes out of the way, and they're in rough terrain. I've now placed the rough terrain where it's supposed to be. I was going to put the Agonizer on the one side. I'm like, why not put the Agonizer where like I could repulse with Makeda if I needed to? So the Agonizer moves up, cries like a baby elephant because they're amazing. I love crying baby elephants. I put Rush where I'm going to move the Gladiator and I'm going to move Zaadesh to get Rush on the Shaman. So the Shaman is going to charge with Rush through Pathfinder. I just need to make sure Zaadesh can be within 8 because not being able to use his Animus and force him would have sucked.
That would have been great.
That probably would have been the game. I would have had to rush the other guy and then try to charge him up there to repulse, but then he's behind Makeda, so it would have been really awkward.
Yep.
So I move, I repulse.
So you've got the 2 servitors,
Yep.
because the reflex servitor was out.
Correct.
And I could have countercharged with the reflex servitor into the shaman, but I was waiting. I kind of had a plan for the reflex servitor that I was hoping was going to foil some of Cory's plans. So you have bumped the 2 servitors back, so now they're in a lovely position where Makeda has a nice charge lane to them. You moved it up with your.
So my second shaman was up, and they've got ghost shots, so I'm just going to take a pot shot at Mother, and hopefully I hit hard enough to drain a fury
and
do
you
damage.
cast snipe off.
So
of
I catch far strike off the Raider. And I boost attack and damage, so ghost shot ignores cover, you're def 15, I only need a 10.
I didn't have any shield guards close enough.
Correct. So. And then I spike with the Raider and actually hit you, needing a 14.
Yeah, you rolled the 15.
I rolled just enough.
Yep.
Because I'm a champ.
That was good.
And then I spiked damage.
Yeah.
And I think I did, like, after your transfer, I did 6.
Yeah, so I was hoping to save those 2 transfers. I mean, if Makeda gets to you, she's going to be loaded up anyway.
So this play I thought was cute. Sorry to cut you off, Dave. Not cute. I think it's a really smart tactical play. So I charge Makeda in, and you countercharge to the explodey guy.
Yes, into a spot where I'm going to hit all of my servitors as well.
2.
Or 2, sorry. The two that matter. So it would be, which would potentially take away his charge targets and make it so that he then is not getting any overtake movement. So charge in. We're just double checking. I could not remember if it was all under the 4-inch template took a POW 14 or if it was blast damage. So he confirmed that it's the central target takes a POW 14. So I did hit Makeda
And killed one of the servitors.
And killed one of the servitors. Unfortunately, I did not roll high enough to kill the second servitor. So Makeda does get her. She can redirect her charge. Hit the one and then get the movement there. And now what are you doing, Cory? Getting that, that extra mile.
I get 2 moves. Now I know I've moved more than an inch on each of those bases, which is why when I measure 4, I'm well within 4. That makes up the difference of moving. And then so I cast Eliminator for free off a Blood Boon off the second attack, which kills 2. Gives me a 4-inch move to your caster.
And now you're in a spot where you're not swinging.
I have not spent a Fury. I have not spent a Fury that didn't give me a kill, so I got one Fury for the charge I killed. I got 1 Fury for the Blood Boon. So I'm sitting on your caster with 8.
And you took 1 free strike on the way in.
I took a free strike in and traded it, so I'm sitting on 7 because I couldn't survive the Cypher. Which doesn't have knockdown.
Yeah, I made Cory clench a little because I
had to relook at the model. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's like the AoE dude.
The macro pummeler,
that is not a macro pummeler. That was probably the scariest moment of the game because I'm like, wait, does that have knockdown? No, it's the macro pummeler. Because like I would have just safeguarded it. I thought it was a macro pummeler. And then I'm able to 2-shot Makeda. That sounds egotistical.
You 2-shotted yourself?
Not Makeda, Mother.
That would have been great. You punch yourself in the face.
I probably could. I managed to 2-shot Mother.
You're at dice plus 1.
Well, my dice got hot.
Well, and you're at dice plus 1, right?
The Raider shot did way more damage.
I've already taken 6 damage.
So I think the odds are still, I think if we sat and did the math, the odds are still probably a 50-50. I don't think it's a great assassination run, but I think it's one of 2 options you let me. You left me try to grind out a freaking 75-hour game trying to kill a Primaxian with brutes. Ask me what the damage of brute does. It's POW strength 16 when you go all in on it.
Pretty good.
What's the axiom? 20 dice off 4. I have 3 fury. 16. It's not. Math does not work out well, Dave.
With that, so
math does not work out well. So I didn't want to spend a game trying to grind a Primaxian.
No worries. And so we're kind of talking about what the placement could have been and stuff. Like if Mother had been a couple of inches back, I think I was just like, I'm safer behind the wall and stuff, so that's why I was there. But she could have been back, and it would have made it. You would have at least had to try and cast a second Eliminator to try and get,
which is going to cost me 3.
Which
is exactly what I had left on.
So that would have been entertaining.
Or I would have to try and boost over the wall.
I think another, which would have put me at 17 or something, which I was more comfortable with. I think also definitely putting Procking battle driven was a bad idea because I think I was forgetting. I'm so used to Rush that I'm just like, oh yeah, Pathfinder doesn't even matter. But because it's beast only, that would have severely limited your options because you're effectively charging through 4 inches of rough terrain, which would have made it a lot more interesting to try and deal with. So yeah, we're talking about what your left flank would have looked like if I had continued on that side as well. Yeah.
Well, I think we're going to pivot to a north-south game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's because you're pretty heavily committed to the north. I saw that from the get-go, so I figured 1 tap and a bunch of servitors could help to keep clearing off the flag down there, because I could actually, with my TEP, I was trying to figure out if I could like be in my zone with my TEP and have my dudes pooped out base to base and be contesting or be on the flag. I don't think the math quite works out. It's effectively the full base of the TEP plus the servitor base, but I have other servitors right there. Anyway, so yeah, it was a good game.
You can be close enough though that your TEP servitors, the free ones, can shield guard.
Right. Oh yeah, and they're contesting.
I have to put a lot of. I have to actually give you a model to kill that. Or to contest. Right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's good because they're basically disposable shield guards because they poop out every turn anyway. So yeah, we talk a lot about Makeda in the current meta as well. We talk about your experiences at LVO, and that Makeda3, you saw a decent amount of her. You took second at LVO with Makeda3, and
I lost to Makeda in the finals.
Yes, and Gregory Schatt had Makeda3 as well. So
I can recap all my games real quickly. So I think my day 1 I played Zal 3 of 4 games. I actually played Zal for 50% of my matches. I like Zal games. They're super grindy, and I like grind. I don't know if you've noticed, but I like grindy games with casters. I seem to do okay with them.
Yep.
So Makeda's weakness is like she doesn't want to play into Crix because they can debuff.
Right.
She doesn't want to play into a Purification caster because they just remove all my animi and spells.
Yep.
So like she has a lot of weaknesses, which I think Zal makes up for, so it's neat. But like you can get into weird, like unlike Ostrom and Magnus or Gordon, which I played last year, and unlike some of the what I see for good Menoth and like other faction pairings, you can get into weird list chicken where you're basically committed to a list and your opponent gets the choice.
Right. Yeah.
Which is how I feel when I play Skorne. So my day 1 I played Zal 3 times. I played Makeda once. My Makeda game was like, I guess I go for a Hail Mary, and if I get it, I win. And I had yet to really do the Pac-Man and win. I lost against you last game with it.
Only because you deathclocked. You did
Correct.
A lot of dudes,
it eats up a lot of time. Yeah. And I'm not great on clock when I'm thinking because I don't want to like lose a caster.
Yeah. And with this army, there's a lot of placement that really makes you think.
So how LVO works is the first day they qualify 5 from champions. I managed to make it in as 5th. Because there was 6 undefeated. The second day, they have 2 master seats, each that qualify 5. And the SoCal winner or the NorCal winner, I can't remember which one it is an auto-qualified spot for the finals.
Okay.
And then the winner of the finals gets a spot in the American WTC team.
Hey, Cory, could you have been on the American WTC team?
I could not have, because I'm Canadian. If an American doesn't win it, the team spot gets reverted back to captain selection.
Right.
Which is probably just as good for them. It's a way for an American to luckily win an event and get in.
Right.
Or an American that isn't well known, right? Like, because a lot of times you look and you're like, who are the top 10 players in America? And you're like, I don't know. Like, you're going to pick the more common ones like JVM and players like that. You're not going to pick unknown ones. Like, if you ask the top 10 players in Canada, I think anyone would be hard-pressed to have the same list.
Yeah.
But to continue, so I get to the top 16. Round 1, I get Scar 1. So Makeda can't win a Scar 1 because, well, it just doesn't feel like a great game because Stalkers are amazing when you add +5 strength and boosted attack rolls.
Yeah.
And I like having an army. Stalkers kill it all. So I play Zal there, and it's just a super grindy game that can go either way depending on who goes first. I won the roll to go first, so it gives me an advantage, and I was able to leverage that. Round 2, I get Rhett, and I'm playing against Gorshade 4, and my opponent, super nice guy, I really enjoyed the game, but my opponent made a mistake, and I feel bad I didn't tell him when I saw him setting up his models, but he moved Gorshade up, he feeded, and then set up like a bunch of infantry around Gorshade, and then
I don't know if you know, Dave, do you know what the Animus on the Brute does?
Oh, it was no stationary, no knockdown.
Do you know what Gorshade's 4 feet is?
If you kill something, you get stationary. Yeah.
So I was able to just feat with Makeda. Each of her warriors was able to give me a Fury, so she went in with 10 on Gorshade. And I'm just able to daisy chain to Gorshade. Right. So again, my opponent was unaware of the Brute interaction and counted on Makeda's feat, but didn't count on the Brute interaction.
Right, yeah. Safeguard is a thing.
And then I get Sean Hawkins, absolutely great guy.
I like Sean.
Yeah, absolutely good guy. And he gets unlucky turn 1, so I win the roll to go first again. Again, huge in that game. I get super aggressive with Molik. I get super aggressive with Brutes. I set up my little pocket of guys. I get all my spells out. And then he walks up and he's trying to scatter a cannoneer shot. He's playing Zal 2. He's trying to scatter a cannoneer shot onto into my backfield. Rolls deviation into my pocket of Molik and 2 Brutes.
And damages them?
Damages all 3 of them.
What did they do then, Cory?
They hyper-aggressive, which puts Sean into a position where he either feats turn 1 or loses his Ancestor, his Supreme Guardian. So Sean has to choose to feat turn 1, which allows me on my turn 2 to back up. And then Sean spreads out, does a really good job protecting himself. And then I was just able to, again, because there's 30 dudes in the Zal list, I'm just able to get enough movement and Eliminator, a good move with Eliminator to actually get to Zal. And I think I killed Zal with 1 Fury left over. So he placed well. I had to cast spells. I had to do work to get there. And I got lucky to get past Sean. Then I played Makeda in the final. So I think the key to Makeda is to plan around overtake. One of the cool things I saw this weekend, a local out of Vancouver played Greg the winner in Champions. And he was playing Menoth, and he used his errands. And he put him out to bait Makeda.
Self-sack.
Makeda charges in and she hits and kills, and she's cast because Greg has the Marquette. So one casts the Grievous, no healing. And instead of allowing him to have overtakes, he's like, I kill you. He's like, sweet, I kill this model and the model you killed. You get a Fury. And then Greg loses overtake targets, and Makeda ends up sitting in the middle of the board.
Right, with no place.
And I'm like, well, that's great tech. He gave him 7 errands. He said, you're going to kill 7 errands. Makeda's going to be there, or 5 inches of it because of Molik.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a big part of playing against her, is knowing how to deny her daisy chaining into all of your stuff.
So to answer, there's a lot of people talking about it. Do I think Makeda's broken? I think she's tuned really, really well, and she's a top tier caster. I think she could lose Grievous. I think Grievous might be the oppressive thing on her card that people haven't realized yet.
Natively on her.
She has it as a spell. It's called Deathbringers. Her entire battle group
gets
Grievous.
Yeah, that's pretty significant. Yeah,
which in the circle matchup is huge.
Trolls.
And Trolls is huge. I think she could lose one thing of that, or she could lose. I don't think Overtake's oppressive. I think Overtake has counterplay.
Yeah, I think what it is it's all the stuff that stacks, things like Force Aura and Bulwark, giving you, because you've covered a lot of the weaknesses, your def 17 effectively against shooting, your def 15 or 17 against charges, because you've got the set defense on the Brute, so it covers a lot of the bases, which is really good. I think she's really good, and she can do a lot of things. She covers a lot of she's not the typical heavy battle group caster that you would expect, because typically you don't have a problem hitting the battle group, or it's super high defense like Legion, for example, but then they don't have a lot of armor. But you've got high defense, good armor, and extra defensive tech that way, so she's quite good.
I think losing Bulwark means that she loses too much.
Yes, yeah, that's her thing. Yeah.
With Insight being command 10, losing Bulwark and applying Insight's really bad.
She needs to be in the middle of the table effectively. So
I think what Bulwark and Insight do is they I hate using the word turret polish. I don't think Brutes are bad. I don't think Savages are bad. I think they're super well priced. I think they're costed really efficiently. I think what she does is she turns an army that can play into heavies out of an army that's just basically lights.
Yeah.
I can put 2 Brutes into a heavy and kill a heavy.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're still def 15 on the charge.
I'm still def 15.
Or 17 if you've got the Bulwark still. So.
And I'm still armor 18 with an Agonizer.
Because you've got shield, and the Agonizer in the back.
It turns a mediocre model into a really good model, and that's what some there's a lot of Insight casters that's their goal. Bulwark means she can be safe.
Yeah, for
sure.
And
I'm going to air quote safe, even though you can't see me. It means she can be safe in the fact that you have to work to kill her.
Well, she's
Whereas
super high
Fiora
defense.
is a large base model.
So she's hard to hide.
Yeah. She has insight and command 10, so the same idea. But she doesn't have any defensive buff bonus, so she's relying on a stat line of 15, 17 or 15, 18, whatever it is, to keep her safe. Whereas Makeda's like, I'm 17, 16.
Yep.
And if you damage me, I'm 17, 18.
Yeah.
And I'm a small base, so you have to draw a line of sight to me. And I'm going to put 2 brutes in front of me.
You've got shield guards around.
And
I've got like 5 shield guards in the list.
And then I can't be knocked down.
And Force Aura. And
I can't be, other than pushing me, there's not much you can do.
Because on paper, it'd be easy, just her in a vacuum, it would be easy to miss all of this stuff, but really where she gets really potent is when you're stacking all this cool stuff that Skorne can do. The flip side being that you need a lot of practice because, as we saw with the proxies and stuff, placement is really important with her to make sure you're always getting your bulwark with your runs and your charges and such, and also making sure that your Force Aura is applied correctly. I mean, in this particular matchup, something like Force Aura was really important because it was a shooty list. It's not going to be this, that case all the time, but there's definitely a lot of cool things that stack together.
If I lose Force Aura, though, I gain Krea.
Yeah.
If you're a melee army, then Krea placement's super important.
Yeah, because the Krea's got Paralyze or whatever too. Or no, that's the
not Krea. I'm thinking Agonizer.
Yeah,
I said Krea.
Yeah.
Krea does have Paralyze as a shot, but no, if I'm not getting the Krea bonus, I'm getting the Agonizer.
The Agonizer is really important for sure.
So like placement of those models is super good.
Yeah.
And then all the utility stuff that the army can offer, because she can take a model like a Shaman and turn his POW 12 gun to a POW 14 gun.
Yeah.
Or she can take a model like a Savage. Like how a Gladiator is POW 16. But with her and Zaadesh, a Gladiator is POW 22.
Yeah.
Because you get 2 for the Enrage, you get 2 for tag team, and it goes from mat 6 to mat 10.
Yeah.
Like a mat 10 POW 22 Gladiator
that's pretty okay.
And he's
good thing he doesn't have 3 attacks, right? What's that, Cory? He has 3 attacks?
Well, one of them's like POW 15.
Oh,
so
okay,
he's a 21. And to be honest, he only has 4 Fury.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like, so he can't really one round a Colossal? I think he can, unless it's a strong wall.
If only he had something to give him free charges.
He does. Oh, maybe. Oh, free slams too.
All the things.
And Grand Slams, so he follows up.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's...
So Skorne's got a lot of really cool stuff right now. I think it's very important to know what, particularly, would Zal and Makeda be kind of the, if you're going to be seeing Skorne in your meta, that's probably
if you're going to see, if your meta plays champs. Because I honestly, like, there's a lot of, like, Zaadesh in Exalted is actually a really neat list. Because the Exalted themselves are relatively tough. They've got decent mats. Hakar makes them great. They've already got defense strike, and then Zaadesh gives them something else. Yeah. Like, you have a lot of really cool, like Makeda can play in Imperial Warhost, or she can play in Exalted. In Exalted, she's really good. She takes the weakness of an army with insight and goes, "Hey guys, have plus
everybody have +2/+2."
Now your basic Immortals
is like mat 8 or something.
With a car go to mat 9.
Oh yeah, because of leadership or whatever. Yeah.
Right, and then you can take your Ancestral Guards, who are base mat 8, mat 9 with a car, go to mat 11 with insight. They're POW 14, can go to POW 16 with insight, can go to POW 18 with the little mechanic dude. So you have a Guardian can run in and just take 4 attacks and you have POW strength 18.
Yep, that's pretty good.
Right, so like she can play in a bunch of themes. I think she's super viable. I don't think you're going to see Zal paired with her as the main.
Right.
I think you're going to see that if you live in Western Canada /US, where guys play champions a lot more. But if you're not at a Champions event, you're going to see, like, Xerxes with the Hydra is amazing.
Right, okay.
Like Xerxes 2. Xerxes 1 in Exalted is really cool because his feat does damage. Zal 1 in Exalted is really good.
Yeah.
The Supreme Guardian being able to put the souls where he wants is super key in the fact that anyone can play in that theme.
Yeah.
If it gives them something and make that theme really good. You can play the Castiga's Poltergeist.
Oh yeah,
his feat's +3 defense.
Yeah.
So you take an immortal unit, you get a soul in each because you have the theme that starts with it. They run up, they spend the soul for defense and go to 13, and then he feats and goes to 16. You now have a death 16 Exalted army with Poltergeist.
If you miss them, you're going to get bumped back.
And you can't move them because the theme says they're removable objects.
Nice.
Like that whole army gets really, really good. So like Skorne's in a good place. Are they overtuned? I don't think so. I think what we're going to see for CID is going to be more what's happening with Pirates, where they're trying to bring some balance and semblance, but create weakness. Skorne has weaknesses.
Oh yeah.
Like Makeda's weakness is she can't play into Purify. or blessed.
Yeah.
Like if you're blessed or you have purified, that game's garbage. I have to play Zal.
Yeah, I was really thinking about the Orion list that I like to play would really like that because it's got Spell Piercer and a lot of high quality shooting, which basically negates Force Aura.
And the bonus with Orion is you're like, I'm going to play. I have Orion and this list. Or I have Orion and Axis. And I'm like, sweet, you have Orion. Mm-hmm. I guess I play guess I play Zal. And be like, well, I know you're going to play Zal because I can't like be all sneaky and be like, I'm going to play this other list because if you do drop Orion, I just lose with Makeda.
Yeah. Right.
So then you drop your anti-Zal list, which is probably Axis, and you're like, well, I'm just going to single point all your stuff down.
Yeah.
So like, there is a weakness. It's a big glaring hole in that faction, right? And Crucible's the same way. They've got weaknesses.
I think
everything's the same way.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that I see especially when you read the internet, and I try to avoid it, and that's why I don't post much on Facebook unless I'm trolling because I'm a horrible man, person, I guess. I think the biggest thing is as a knee-jerk reaction, we see Makeda in the finals, and we see that there was, I think, 5 Makeda players or 6 Makeda players in the top 16 at Warmachine weekend, or at LVO, sorry.
Yeah.
And we forget that Champions was the first qualifier.
Right.
And it qualified 2 Circle and 3 Skorne, or 3 Circle and 2 Skorne.
Yeah.
And people brought lists to play Champions.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go to the Masters event the next day and you brought Champions list, you're probably going to play your Champions list.
Especially if you've traveled or whatever.
Yeah, like you're not going to pack 8 armies. It's a lot of inconvenience if you flew.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to put shit under a plane, so you're going to carry on.
Yeah.
And when you're bringing a Supreme Guardian, maybe you bring an extra caster. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of guys went to double Exalted. Mm-hmm. But like I know that the guy from Line of Sight, because names are bad. Nope. Chandler. I know that Chandler's change to day 2 was just to put Makeda into Exalted.
Oh, okay.
That was it. She played in Imperial Wars, I think, on day 1.
Right.
And he dropped her into Exalted on day 2.
Okay.
So, like, and he brought his second list as Xerxes. Because I don't think he's a fan of Zal.
Right.
And honestly, in a Masters event, I probably don't bring Makeda Zal. I literally just wanted to fly with the minimum. It's Vegas. Mm-hmm. Am I going to fly with more models than I need to? No, because I want to be able to either bring souvenirs home or not pack 8,000 things around with me in Vegas because I'm going to try and go see strippers. I'm going to go see the sights in Las Vegas and eat good food.
Good times.
Right? So I think Iona's a problem, but I don't know what the actual problem is. I haven't played into it enough. I haven't really thought of it, and I'm not going to knee-jerk react. Mm-hmm. And I think the biggest problem that people have is when we see a problem that we can't beat, we stop looking for answers and we start looking for excuses.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think the big thing is going to be people need to really understand what particularly Makeda can do, because she can get really far. She can get a lot of work done herself, and she's got, because of her movement shenanigans and the overtake and the spell that lets you move, she's got really weird angles that she can get in, and it can be very hard to keep yourself safe. And the typical tactics of putting guys in the way to block charge lanes and such aren't going to work with her unless it's a really, really hard target.
Or it's Jax.
Yeah.
She's not going to kill a Jax.
Well, exactly. Yeah, you need to put a hard target in front of her so that she's really having to spend that focus to get rid of that target. So it's important to know what she does, so you don't get caught off guard, because she can go a really long way, and she's definitely no chump in melee when she's got insight up. So see Matt, like...
She's Matt 8 base, goes to 10.
Yeah, so Matt 10, POW 18.
POW 14.
Yeah.
Goes to 60 with insight and 18 if you damage.
Yeah, right. So that's, and with 75 fury on her by the time she gets to you, it's a bad time.
She caps at 12. She's not Madrak.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
now remember, I played a lot of Madrak too back in the day, because I love surfing. I love just a caster that wants to go in and not die.
Yeah.
And the reason I can pick up Makeda is because Madrak was way more broken.
Yeah.
And I think they over-tuned him down. Mm-hmm. I think he's okay now. I think they took too much away.
Yeah.
I think PP wants to avoid doing that. So we need to find...
It's a balancing act for sure. That's where Sid is really nice. It really helps to get that the input from the community too before a change is locked in. So
I also think we need to look longer at models than the lists we play. I think if you're showing up with lists you played last year at this time that were meant to beat... like Ostrom or whatever, and you switch and you want to play dude spam.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm just going to play dude spam. Well, Makeda's really good at dude spam.
Yep.
She really struggles in a big armor. If you brought the Cater caster that gives mobility, like Harkovich.
Yeah.
If you brought Harkovich and like 8 heavies,
yeah,
I probably can't kill it all with either of my lists.
Right.
Like, Molik can kill a heavy, but then Molik dies.
Yeah.
And the Brutes maybe kill a heavy every other turn, but then you're killing Brutes.
Yeah.
And, like, I can't piece trade that up.
Yeah.
And I'm never going to get the ability to move onto your caster if you play 14 inches away from me. You're not going to give me eliminators because I can't eliminate her off a heavy.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Unless I get lucky and leave it on a box. And boost my eliminator damage.
Yeah.
And then I probably can't kill Harkovich because he's based with a jack, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's counterplay. And also, the meta has to change. And if you're playing dude spam into Makeda, it's going to be a really tough game. But if you're playing,
Cory, have we done that before?
Once. And
I had a memory.
I think Makeda killed like 14 or 15 dudes on her own.
And then the rest of our army went. It was fine.
And I could ram Fury back up on her also.
Yeah.
That's a bad. Like, she does really well. That's her stick. And she's, unless you bring a bunch of heavies with her, she can't kill heavies.
Yeah.
And I think if you're bringing heavies, you're running an inefficient list.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets tricky for sure. So it's definitely something to know what Skorne does, guys. Skorne's in a really good place right now. You're probably going to see at least some of it in your meta, depending on where you are. Don't get caught off guard by the craziness. It was a good game. Lots of lessons learned. I've played into Makeda twice now, and I know what she does. So hopefully that will prevent me from getting caught off guard at an event or something like that. I'll be slightly more prepared.
I'm bringing Pirates next game.
Nice. Okay.
Because their CID is amazing.
I don't even know what I'm going to do. I don't even know. I'm going to play Monster Apocalypse. Can I just stomp my big monsters across your? Yeah.
I'm in. We'll play a mix-up.
Excellent. Perfect. That sounds good. So stay tuned for that next week, guys. Warmachine versus Monster Apocalypse. It'll be good times. But thank you for the game, sir. It was a fun night. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to hit like on that video if you're enjoying the content. Also subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the new content that we're creating. We're rotating typically between Warmachine and Hordes and Monster Apocalypse from week to week, so we cover both. And we're hoping also to get a Warma Hordes Slow Grower League started up soon to inject some new players into the scene as well. So hopefully we'll have some from that soon as well. So have a good night, guys, and we will see you next time.